What's up, gamers? Are back here with another awesome demo. If you're anything like me, motivation is really hard to come by. Yesterday, I only did my project for 20 minutes and then played Counter-Strike for the rest of the day. Don't get me wrong, it was fun, but sometimes I really want to work on my project. In order to fight the ever-constant drag of procrastination, I like to drink coffee. And I have to say, the 2 hours of focus I get after drinking it is totally worth the lifetime of caffeine dependency. Inevitable doom aside, we've got work to do, so let's just jump right into it. Hey, you! Come over here, we're having a party. What? Come to this island, we are having a party. What? Oh, for fuck's sake. So, yeah, I've always wanted to do something like that, so, yeah. Let's actually do some work now. So what I needed to do now was add a way for the player to be able to actually save the options that they save in the options menu. I tried downloading lots of different solutions such as XML and JSON and YAML, and in the end I settled with JSON because that was the one that worked for me first. I had a bit of difficulty getting the other ones to work, and I'm too lazy to actually follow a tutorial, so yeah. I ended up setting up some helper methods so I could easily save and load options from the file. Since I had no idea what I was doing, and I was too stubborn to look up a tutorial, everything broke. After about half an hour of playing around with various functions and moving around variables, I eventually got it to work. Now that that's working perfectly fine, I made it so that whenever you move the sliders in the options menu, it saves it straight to the config file.
NANI?!
Man, even though I wrote the whole thing myself, I still don't know how to use it. I forgot to save the config file to an actual file. Ooh, nice. Now that the settings can be saved, I need to work on a way to actually load them when the game begins. Because I already set it up so that I could load values from the JSON, this was pretty easy to set up. I just needed to make it so that the sliders were actually in the right place when you loaded them up, or else it would look a little bit weird. Alright, now with fingers crossed, let's hope this works. Ooh, yeah. Now let's just quickly make sure it works in-game too. And it does. Very nice. Well, anyone who's got any teeny bit of Unity experience could say,
"Why you not use PlayerPrefs, you noob?"
I don't want to. Now that I've set up the system like this, I could easily save other things that I need to save, like level data or maybe currency or anything like that. I can't really think of anything I need to save at the moment, but the system is in place. It's ready for me to use. All I need to do is type in some little lines of code and she's good to go. Now we do have one problem. Watch this. So, yeah. Unless we want players to be able to cheat their way through every single level, we're going to have to implement something to prevent them from doing that. The way I thought of to fix this problem was to make NoBuild Zones. These are just areas that the player can't build bridge segments through. So, to begin with, I made a simple quad. Then, I created a material to go on the quad. Then, I applied my texture to the quad so it doesn't actually just look like a square. Then, setting the material to be transparent so we can see through the bits that we're not meant to see. Messing around with a few more settings just so that the NoBuild zone doesn't receive shadows because that'd be kinda weird. Then, I moved it into place to see what it would look like. It was obvious that my texture wasn't tiling properly, so I jumped back into paint.net and I fixed that issue. So this was just a case of selecting and moving the lines over and over again until they matched up. There was probably a much easier way I could have done this, but it was the way I chose and it worked in the end, so I'm not really fussed about that. At this point, the NoBuild zone was basically looking how I wanted it to, except for one major flaw. If I moved it around, the lines would move around too. This means I can't really sort of connect build zones together if they're different sizes, so in the end I decided to make my own shader to fix this problem. So the shader I'm creating here is called a planar shader. This means that the world position is plugged directly into the UV of the model, which creates the sort of planar effect that I'm about to show you. Now, as you can see, no matter where the build zone is, the lines are in the exact same position. Even if we scale the object up or down, the lines are still exactly the same. Now we can make any shape and combination of build zones that we need. Alright, so that'll be it for this video. In the next one, we get to do the coding so that the NoBuild zones actually block the user from placing bridge segments. But until then,
remember to dislike and subscribe.